So now we found out that the Most High didn't send them, but Satan sent them. Okay, so now we're going to go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14, 22 through 29, because we need to find out, you know what I'm saying, what are the fruits, you know what I'm saying, again, these pastors are doing that you can know whether your pastor is a false apostle, not teaching and sticking to the real gospel, you know what I'm saying, not straying to the left or to the right from the word. So we're going to turn to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14. And the reason why we're going to go to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 22 through 29, because it speaks about tithing. And in today's church, the church, when you ask them about why we don't keep the Sabbath and a lot of other things, they tell you that it was done away with in the Old Testament. Or they tell you, oh, that's got to do with the Old Testament. Don't even worry about it. We're in the New Testament. But when it comes to tithing, they always go back to the Old Testament. They don't want to talk about the Old Testament at all. But when it comes to money, they want to go to the Old Testament but tell you not to worry about nothing else in the Old Testament. That don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? That's a deception. You're being deceived. You know what I'm saying? They tell you don't have to keep the Sabbath. That's in the Old Testament. I mean, tithing is not even a 10 commandment. So it's a lesser law. Those 10 commandments are the meat of the law. Those reign supreme over the other commandments. And tithing is not even a 10 commandment. But they tell you don't keep the Sabbath. Because that's in the Old Testament. But give me 10% of your money, because that's what the Jews did. They're teaching you that you're not a Jew, that you're a Gentile. But the Jews, they wasn't in the New Testament. They're not telling the Gentiles to give 10%. Only the Jews. So if they teaching you you're not a Jew, even though you are, they don't know that though. You know what I'm saying? But even though you are, they teaching you not a Jew, but they still want 10%. Come on, wake up, people. You know what I'm saying? Smell the smoke. It's fire. Okay, go ahead. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14, verse 22 through 29. Go ahead, read.
Deuteronomy, chapter 14, verses 22. Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed, that the field bringeth forth year by year. And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy power, in the place which he shall choose to place his name there. The tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, and of thy oil, and the firstling of thy herd, and of thy flocks, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy power always. And if the way be too long for thee, so that thou art not able to carry it, or if the place be too far from thee, which the Lord thy power shall choose to set his name there, when the Lord thy power hath blessed thee, then thou shalt turn it into money, and bind up the money in thy hand, and shall go unto the place which the Lord thy power shall choose. And thou shalt bestow that money for whatsoever thy soul lusteth after, for oxen, or for sheep, or for wine, or for strong drink, or for whatsoever thy soul desireth. And thou shalt eat there before the Lord thy power, and thou shalt rejoice, thou and thy household.
Okay, stop right there. Okay, so now we see that tithing was always meant to be food and only food. It was never money. The only time it was supposed to be turned into money is if your journey was too long to carry all those goods. He said turn it into money, and when you get to where you're going, turn it back into food. So you see, these pastors are taking these scriptures, you know what I'm saying, and twisting it for their own financial benefit, thinking the gain is godliness. You know what I'm saying? Okay, go ahead, continue.
Deuteronomy chapter 14, verses 27. And the Levite that is within thy gates, thou shalt not forsake him, for he hath no part nor inheritance with thee.
Okay, he says, the Levite that is within thy gates, thou shalt not forsake him, for he hath no part nor inheritance with thee. This is why we were commanded to tithe to the tribe of Levi, because when they sent Joshua into the land of Canaan in our soldiers, and we conquered that land, it was divided up into 11 portions, but it was 12 tribes. So the Levites, they did not have no land. You know what I'm saying? They lived in the synagogues, in the temple, worshiping and teaching the people the laws and how to worship the Most High. So that's where they lived at. But your land is how you made money back then. That's where you grew your crops. That's where your cattle nurse from the field, you know what I'm saying? So selling your crops, you know what I'm saying, and butchering your sheep and your goat and selling it at the market, that's how you got money. The Levites had no participation in this act. So this is why we were to give them a tenth of that money, because they had no land and they had no way to receive income. You know what I'm saying? So it was supposed to go to a specific people. And there's some other people the tithe was supposed to go to. And we're going to get into that. Go ahead, continue to read.
Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 28. At the end of 3 years, thou shalt bring forth all the tithe of thy increase the same year, and shalt lay it up within thy gate.
Okay, so right here you see that they was tithing every 3 years. It wasn't every Sunday. Somebody extract money from you every week. It's hard for you to build a foundation. You know what I'm saying? It's different when you have an abundance of things and you're giving a tenth. It don't hurt you as bad. But when you're making $8 an hour and you got kids and you on welfare and you giving a tenth of your money, that's just cruel. It's just cruel and it's wrong. Go ahead, continue.
And the Levite, because he hath no part nor inheritance with thee, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow.
Okay, he says, along with the Levite, the stranger, like the Gentiles who want to come amongst us and worship in spirit and in truth. So you're not to just deal harshly with Gentiles just because they're not the people. If they're going to worship the Most High in the spirit and in truth, you treat them equal. You know what I'm saying? You're not to be prejudiced to them. You know what I'm saying? We can't be racist in the situation that we in. You know what I'm saying? But just because you find out you're a Jew, you're not supposed to just, dirty Gentile, get away from me. You know what I'm saying? If they coming to you, we the people of God, they supposed to come to us.
Dumb boy.
They supposed to come to us. You know what I'm saying? So they welcome, and they even should be giving money if they don't have any. But who else?
And the widow which are within thy gate shall come and shall eat and be satisfied.
Okay, he said the fatherless and the widow. Now, in today's times we live in, most of the young men are fatherless.
You ain't never seen him get no money.
Most of the young men are fatherless in these churches. You know what I'm saying? So the money, so the tithes are not only supposed to go to the specific tribe, the Levites that don't exist anymore, but they were supposed to go to the strangers who came amongst us. They were supposed to go to the fatherless and the widows. You know what I'm saying?
Teach.
So in today's churches, the collection plate is never getting passed around for these people. These people are the ones putting money in the collection plate, and it's going straight to that back room. They walking it back like they armed guards in the church. You know what I'm saying? The pit boss. You know what I'm saying? The pit boss. You know what I'm saying? The security guard is taking it to the back, and it's not getting filtered back out into the community. This scripture is clearly telling you to take this to this specific tribe and filter it back out to the have-nots of the community. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so now we're going to go to the same book, Deuteronomy, but chapter 24, 19 through 20. We're going to get some further reiteration of this.
Deuteronomy 24?
Yep, Deuteronomy 24, verses 19 and 20.
Deuteronomy chapter 24, verses 19. And when thou cuttest down thy harvest in thy field, and hast gotten a sheaf in the field, thou shalt not go again to fetch it. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow, that the Lord thy power may bless thee in all thy work of thy hand.
So right here, he's telling you you're supposed to share with these people even when it's not time to worship, because these are the have-nots of the community. You know what I'm saying? How much is this going on in your Sunday church today?
He tell you to pray.
When it's not,
Pray for the needy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They trying to make God out to be this magic genie that he's just gonna manifest stuff out of nowhere. He worked through people. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna come down here, you know what I'm saying, and snap his fingers and click his heels and just make money appear out of nowhere. Our system, the way we live, it doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? So now we're going to go again to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 26, verse 12 and 13. Because when the Most High says something repeatedly, that means he's adamant about it. It's real deep in his heart that he wants us to do these things. And these pastors, these false prophets are not doing that. That's what makes them false. Okay, the book of Deuteronomy chapter 26, verse 12 and 13.
Deuteronomy chapter 26, verse 12. And when thou hast made an end of tithing, all the tithes of thy increase, the third year, which is year of tithing.
Again, the third year, which is the year of tithing. This is not a weekly thing. Continue.
and hast given it unto the Levite, the stranger, the